Hi and welcome to Tabletop Gaming. My name is Charlie and today we're going to take a look at Longshot, the dice game. Now this is a first look. I haven't had the pleasure of being inside this game and working out what's going on as yet. However, we have completed a review in Tabletop Gaming magazine, which is what we are well known for. You'll see it in my background. There's random little magazines around. We do that. Inside there we did a review of this, a separate review did so, and that is also available as a YouTube video, so I will pop a link to that if you want to see about it. However, today we're going to take a look inside, get a feel and idea for the components, what sort of things you're going to be asked to do, and perhaps why this is being so well reviewed and is so well loved. Anyone who's seen this channel for a while will understand I am a big fan of a magnetic close. I think it keeps the board game so nice rather than every time you turn it on its side to put it in a Kallax it going poof. So the fact that this is a nice little game with already quite adorable artwork and a magnetic close gives it one big tick in my book. But let's see what's actually here. So we begin, as always, with instructions. So inside here, we're going to find out exactly what we need to do. Most of it is pictorial based, so it's not too much that you have to worry about, which is always nice. A quick and easy game to learn is always a win in my book. You can see that it's not too text heavy, and it should, in theory, be nice and easy to pick up. Now, in reviews that have been completed for the magazine for this, I understand it to be that actually this is a great one because you can get sort of family and friends involved without needing too much upskill time, which is always a win. Now, we also have a pamphlet. Want more horse cards? Check out our horse mini expansion so you can already pick up more from them as well. And then a quick advert as well for their other ones that comes included with it too. So bear those in mind. If you like this, there's more. Now, carrying on through the box now, because I've been really excited to get my hands on this game, and whilst I've kept this as a first look, so this is the first time I'm looking at it, the first information I've got, I know a little bit more about it than I would normally on these, because I'm very excited to be able to actually go and play it now. But we have, check a look at those! This artwork style is really consistent throughout and really interesting, but we have different things that we can earn for, and that keeps things interesting. Now, our player cards are these ones. So these are sort of laminated card, I think is the best way of putting it through, and we should therefore find, she's cheating, she's sneaking ahead, a nice big stack of reusable markers, well, rewashable markers. The markers where you can wipe clean to be able to do on your player card. So you can mark what it is that you're doing, where you're up to, and how well you're doing, because ultimately that's what we want to know. Now those are all exactly the same. There's no particular difference across them. The difference comes in the horses themselves and the actions that you and your fellow players choose to make. As for the board, it is delightfully travel size, which is what I love about this game. For a game that's been so well reviewed and so well loved, it's such a good size. This is all you need. This is just going to tell you where the horses are and give you sort of a pictorial, chuck that in the middle. You don't need to sort of necessarily crowd round it. It's not a problem if you're going up to that higher player count. This gives you all of what you need from a visual distance. Put it in the middle of the table, it's fine. We haven't all got to be doing something at the same time on the board and struggling to do so. But you'll notice there are a couple of markers on here, so we will begin with our horses. They will move round in each of these sections that head round, so you can see the little lines that mark it. And then we've also got things like lines denoting when you can no longer bet, like it's too late to bet on a horse once they've reached that point, unless certain criteria are met. Now, speaking of the horses, let's take a look at those, because I love how this artwork carries on through. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me a little bit of Mary Poppins, when they have the original Mary Poppins, when the carousel horses ride off and they become sort of cartoonish and you go through the race, this gives me that sort of level of fun vibes. Like, it's not taking itself too seriously, it's just looking at, hey look, here's a cartoon. You could imagine each of these with different voices and different personalities that come into play. And I know what my gaming group is like. We'd have a lot of fun giving them voices and parts to play. But of those, we have 8 different horses to play with. They are also marked on the top. You will see they are numbered. So even when they are squished together on that board, you can see which one is which. Now, some of them are in theory easier to win in the sense that they're more likely to get a boost through, but then they're lower money. So is it worth risking it on those or trying to use what power-ups you have to push them through a little bit further? But hey, I digress. We have some cards to look at as well. So these ones are to consider going through. Also, we've got some really nice artwork on the back there. I like how simple that is in the sense it feels a little bit more like what I would expect from a race course. And then we match that up with these guys of our different horse types that I said about, who gain different things as you go through. Now, some of that is sort of at scoring, gain $2 for each horse you have a bet on, but interestingly, you'll see that using this in some way will benefit other horses as well. So when I mentioned the higher up horses sort of struggle, the higher numbered horses struggle, it's because they're not really on those cards, they're not easy to get that extra boost from things being played, but there are ways to help them. For example, a much lauded feature of this game is the sort of interactivity between your bonuses and how that affects you and other players, because it's very easy to create a game that says, right, you need to bet on a horse, and then, do you know what, we'll probably just roll a dice and then see how far they go, and if they go far enough, then they've won, and that means that you've won the bet. It's no real skill, it's just guesswork the entire way through. Where that comes into practice is how you use the abilities you've got. So you'll see, for example, if I just show you here, we won't go into detail about how you collect these, but there are extra options here. So some of these are minuses, some of them are extra spaces. And what that in some cases means is that you can perhaps look and see that your fellow player is betting everything on that one. What if you moved that one back 2 spaces using your ability, and your friend also did the same, and then suddenly that horse that was in the forefront that your friend bet all of their coins on is now at the back, and in the meantime your one has shuffled forward. How about that? Which is all fun and games until it happens to you. So something to bear in mind. Now, you also have the very last things that are inside this box are your dice. So you have a numbered one here and a coloured one here. This will tell you which horse to move, depending on which side you roll, and this will tell you how far to move them. And then stuff happens as a result. Ultimately, what that makes for is not just a very fast-paced game that's quite fun to get into and quite easily competitive, one that you have to consider strategically because you need to work out what your other players are doing and try and sabotage them a little bit, put yourself at the forefront whilst pulling those back. But it's so bright and colourful and fun that it brings such a smile to your face, and that level of competition is the same that you might get when you're doing sort of potentially betting on other things. Only of course, this means no actual gambling. And something that our reviewer in the magazine commented on that I think is worth mentioning is there is obvious sort of connotations with the fact that this is an industry that doesn't treat horses particularly well. This is also based on a construct of gambling. This is placing bets and money and expectations, and that can have such a downward spiral in some places. They're sensitive topics. However, it does feel that this is far enough removed from any actual gambling and from any actual sort of horse racing that actually exists, that it does feel like it's in a much better area where you can enjoy it for the fun and cartoonishness that it offers, as opposed to, and I think what I'm trying to say is this isn't glorifying horse racing and the effects that it has. That's not what it's doing. It's just giving you a fun cartoon game to play of bright colours that is so far removed that we're not talking the same thing. As I said, I can't help but think of Mary Poppins in the best kind of way, and this just feels like a dose of that rather than going down to the races and knowing that sort of stuff. I've never done that, but people do. So I guess tally-ho and what fourth? I feel like that's a horse thing. I don't know. But because it is a lovely and small box, there are only so many components, there is only so much I can show you in a first look, you are going to have to find out more elsewhere. Now, check out that review video we've got for you, pick up a copy yourself, and let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Is this something you're interested in? Is this something you've played? And I want to hear if you have. And what are your thoughts on it? Tell me everything. As always, I would say thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful day.